This podcast is brought to you by Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce. A great sauce starts with the best ingredients. Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce is that great sauce. Inspired by our founder's original recipe, Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce is made with delicious ingredients, including vine-ripened tomatoes, chopped onions, garlic, and olive oil, simmered together for the authentic taste you and your family will want to come back to. For recipes, sauces, and mealtime inspiration, visit ragu.com.
What is up, guys? I'm Dusty Grant, the host of the DG and Friends podcast. I'm excited to take this ride with you as I get to know interesting folks from all walks of life and pick their brains about their journey. I'd like to sincerely thank you for tuning in. DG and Friends starts now.
Is that supposed to be there?
Nope.
Hey, we're live, baby. That's the way it goes.
What was that, Dusty Grant? Is that your American Idol audition? You should have seen your eyes. I can see you backstage. You were like, what the?
Well, what is going? All I have is I just have echoes going on and everything.
You're echoing?
Yes. Everything's like delayed and lagged. And
where are you? What windows do you have open, Dusty Grant?
let's see where we're at now.
Hello.
How's things feeling now for everybody?
I feel great.
Everything's great with
Good
me.
Lord. You try to add a third person to the you try to add a third person to the mix and it just goes completely haywire. Welcome to the show, Norm. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here.
Welcome to the happy hour hangs. Me and Derek have been the only ones to do these. It's just been he and I on Fridays. And then he asked if you wanted to come on. I'm like, yeah, definitely. And then I decided I'm going to do another happy hour hang with Jasmine from Fractured on Tuesday. She's like, I don't want to do She's like, I don't want to do the show. She's like, I just want to come on and do the talking and hanging out thing. I'm like, okay, then we'll just do that. You know, that's fine. It's so cool to have where we can just hang out and talk, and some people seem to be interested in what we have to say, or it's funny, or they think we're stupid. Or, you know, who cares?
Maybe you can actually like hang out with Norm this time of year that football season is officially over.
Yeah, that helps a little.
Liberal didn't go too far, but now like all the games are over. Like, what about a week out of the state championships and everything, except for Texas and stuff?
Yeah, Kansas, all their state championships were that the weekend after Thanksgiving. And, even Oklahoma and Texas are getting pretty close to done now. Oklahoma was last week and Texas is this weekend. So, yeah, the whole area is getting pretty well over with.
Yeah, man, it's about that time. Now, Dusty, what are you doing? You look busy.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just making sure everything's working correctly over here.
I think it's going great. We have comments. You see, click on the comments section on the comments tab over there, Dusty, and you can pin comments. Sick. Now you're in a real studio.
We're making people famous.
Matthew Sondag.
Welcome to the show. That's my first ever comment pinned to the DG and Friends happy hour things. I popped my cherry. I've got a third guest and I've pinned a comment. This is amazing. We are so awesome. Thank you very much.
This is growth right here.
It's happening right now. I'm blossoming into a full-grown flower.
I told him today he was a real boy. Now that he's streaming,
there you go.
What's up, Sniper Ghost?
Oh, cool! You got the Nightbot that's just throwing out the.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome, man. I wish I could do stuff like that.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Derek. You're learning things too today. Everyone learns on the DG and Friends happy hour.
See, like all the shows that I'm a part of, I think are great. I like all the shows I'm a part of. But when it comes to this, like having a bot come in and talk to the people during the show, I don't know how to do any of that stuff, Dusty Grant. Like, I
know how. I'll show you. I can teach you the ways.
We're trying to put on a show here, me and Norm, every Wednesday night, and we need help, man.
I got you. I'll help you with that stuff. You guys have helped me. There's no way this is happening right now without your help.
Dusty, you want a guest?
Who?
Pop that next comment up.
This one?
Joey Aranda.
got the COVID vaccine today and have turned into some islands and stuff. Yeah.
Can we talk about that? Norm, are you somebody who buys the first generation PlayStation 5 or like same thing with the vaccine? Are you waiting until like the third or fourth generation comes out? All the bugs are worked out?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm probably not a good one to ask that because I'm still playing on a PlayStation 2.
Welcome Nightbot to the chat. Everybody seems to be impressed by Nightbot.
Yeah,
I'm happy to have him as a part of the team. So props to Nightbot.
So I'm probably going to go out and get a flu vaccine instead of the COVID vaccine as well.
Yeah. See, I've never really gotten the flu vaccine because I've watched way too many Alex Jones videos in my early 20s.
Yeah.
But like, I think now, like, I'm over all that. I think I'm going to check that out but see, I 3 months ago, I don't think I would have taken anything that they were offering. But like, the more desperate you get, now I see like the healthcare workers doing it, and I'm just like, all right, let's do it. Let's give it to me. I want to go to a concert,
Yeah, I mean, I realize these got approved quickly, but usually vaccines are pretty safe. I mean, generally speaking. And I know there's a lot of people that think they're not, but I have.
Those people have a hard time posting on Twitter without it getting removed, though.
Yeah.
Well, they came to my work and they were just giving them out, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get one. I don't want to get sick.
You got the COVID vaccine?
I didn't get the COVID vaccine. I got the flu vaccine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a little weirded out by the first round of anything when they haven't they don't have any research. What's up, Bo? Welcome to the podcast.
I kind of understand what you're saying. There's scary. Yeah, you try not to buy the first generation of a car,
Right.
I get that. I really do.
Honestly though, like I have to first of all, the healthcare workers that were out on the front lines during all this, and they've been continuously out there dealing with the people that like they know they're going to see, they know they're going to come in contact with COVID generally every day. So I give them props for that. But then also the people that I like, Joey, he's in the medical industry. He's into a respiratory therapist, I think. And so I've been seeing a lot of my friends that are in the medical field getting the COVID vaccine. So I additionally think they're even more badass this week because I'm just like, you got balls. Like you're taking this shot first generation. And I think that's cool, because we have to somebody's got to take it. Otherwise we're never going to know if it's going to work,
Yeah. But, it amazed me. They kept talking about the numbers like, there were going to be millions of doses available and all that. But it looks like it's going to be spring or summer before it's readily available for the average person,
Yeah. And do you think that that's going to be a pay-to-play thing? Like if people have it'll be like a situation where you can get it if you pay for it or?
Well, I've read articles already about how, rich people are trying to pay and jump in line and all that. I don't think so, but I don't know, I mean, that is kind of how things tend to work out in our society, but
I don't know. I'll wait for the first round, and if they all turn into zombies, then I'll shy away from it.
Then I'll definitely take it.
What we should probably do is we should probably get Joey and just tie him to a chair somewhere and watch him for a few days. You poke him with a stick every now and then.
Yeah, Sniper's saying we should stream gaming, and in fact, I do. Sniper, I haven't done a ton of it just because I don't have a lot of free time, but from time to time, I go and play Destiny 2 and stream it. And the first thing you see is me like not even knowing how to get to the mission.
The game stream is called Watch Dusty Die for an Hour.
Yeah, it pretty much is. Me just falling off shit, me respawning over here, me friendly firing and killing my teammates, me helping the team in no way. So like the people that are on my squad are probably like, this guy is such a piece of shit. But it makes for a funny stream.
You say you have a PS2. Like, what games do you play whenever like you do game?
Oh, I don't know. I play. I've got Madden and the sports games and college football. But I think probably my favorite games are the God of War, 1 and 2, which are on the PS2. Those are both good games. I don't know. I got a shit ton of games, man.
I remember God of War. My buddy used to play that. That was like. Yeah. That was pretty impressive when the first one came out. Like I remember everybody just watching it play, and everybody was just like, "Oh my god, like this is."
Yeah,
I think we're gonna go to hell.
As crazy as it sounds, because they sound kind of cheesy, but the Star Wars Battlefront games are pretty good games for the PS2 too. A lot of variety of different different things you can do and that kind of thing. But
I think if Norm streamed PS2 on Twitch, that would be epic shit. I would for sure watch that. 100% watching that. I'd be like, Norm, what's Norm playing today? He's playing what's the Battletoads? Norm playing Battletoads today.
My parents have a PS3. That's what I like about gaming systems, though. It's like whatever one you have, like you're probably gonna have fun on it. You know what I'm saying? We bought with my son's first gaming thing. We got him. I bought him one of those like little $60. It's like it looks like a little Super Nintendo, and it's got like 60 or 70.
I've got one of those. Because those are the games that I remember and that I'm good at are the old Super Nintendo games. Yeah, and
my kid played the hell out of like Mortal Kombat and all that stuff, and now I got the PS4. But see, I would love to have a PS5, but I am not the kind of person that can. First of all, I can't. My wife would never let me buy a PS5, and I just can't put that kind of money down on like.
What does a PS5 cost? I've seen the.
I think it's like $5 to $6 or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was $500 or $600. Yeah, somewhere. I mean,
that's you want to think about it, man. You pick and choose your arguments with your spouse. Is that the mountain? Is that the hill you want to die on? The PS5.
I don't think so. I don't care at all.
No, I'm going to get a PS5 in 3 years at a pawn shop.
This is the last comment we need, and then we can move on from gaming.
Nintendo 64.
Nintendo 64 was so beast. Do you remember playing James Bond and Mario Kart? Those games are epic. That James Bond game, the GoldenEye, that is still probably the best first-person shooter game ever made. That multiplayer was so much fun with like the mines and rocket launchers and all that.
Yeah,
kind
I've got
stuff.
that on the PS2. It's a good game on the PS2 also. Yeah, you
got 4 kids on a little 27-inch TV, and it's broken to 4 things.
I mean, I used to have it down to a science. Like I would play with certain people, and when we went to college, that game was still like really popular. So we would like challenge people from the football team. We'd be like, you guys come in, me and my roommate versus you two, proximity mines in the temple, 7:30 tonight. You're bringing the beer. Let's do this. And I had it down to the point where like I could throw the mines where people were going to spawn. So like you'd kill them and shoot them and you'd be like, ha ha ha. And then they would blow up again. And then you just keep getting up and you get it to where they can't even do anything. And WWF No Mercy was amazing on there. And so was WCW versus whatever. I'm having a major brain
anything
fart.
With the Undertaker.
NWO.
Like
yeah. WCW versus NWO. That game was epic too.
Yeah.
You have 4 guys, like you said, on these tiny little, like tiny TVs, and it was the best game you'd ever played.
Yeah, I don't know, especially like the whole first generation thing. Like I've already heard a bunch of stuff about the PS5s they're having issues and stuff, and I'll love my PS5 here in like 2.5 years when I get it at a pawn shop.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever have one.
You'll never. You're a hater.
I know. I just won't ever have time to play it.
You've also moved on to a PC. Like you're probably going to game on PC.
If I play, yes. I mean, I do. I wish I had more time to play Destiny 2 because that game is badass, and I could see myself getting really good at it. But I don't have the time to dedicate to.
See, I'm on the PS4. I haven't moved to the PC gaming because I still like having sex with girls. But as soon as that dies off, I'm gonna move slowly into being a PC gamer. I don't know. I just don't like that's like. Second level, like these people that like my brother Ian, we lost him for like, I don't know, a year playing that. What is it called? World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah.
Like him and my mom were just.
Did you ever play Oblivion? Did you ever play Oblivion? It was
a computer game.
It was a PlayStation 3 or 4 game. It's like you go into this world and you have to come and you like become this gladiator and you make money and then you have to go out and become like a wizard and shit. shit. Like you have to run around in the woods and like gather berries, but it's like this open world. So you have to get the certain kind of plants to make the potions and shit.
Yeah.
And me and my roommate got into that stuff way further than we should have. It was like I would get off work and I'd be like, "What are you doing tonight?" "Not much." Like I already got the I would before I even went and took the after work shit, I was turning on the PS4 to make sure it was fired up like the second I got down there.
Do you think that there's any kind of Norm, you're a teacher, you're around the youth of America. Do you think it's bad to let a kid sit there and play games? Because my son plays like PS4 quite a bit. He plays Roblox quite a bit. He loves it. It's not even like a babysitter situation. I'm like, oh, here, sit here, and I don't have to watch you. He's just like, he gets mad if you tell him he can't play one of his games. What do you think, Norm? Is that am I ruining my kid?
I think that that's a question that most parents ask. And I think what it comes down to, honestly, is, if you do too much of any one thing, it's probably not a good thing, But I don't think that, video games are going to hurt your kids. I mean, just that whole thing, if they become more important than other things that he ought to be taking care of, then that's where your problem is, But
yeah, like if he just goes to the bathroom while sitting there, and he's
exactly.
Cool.
I mean, anything that you let take over your life, whether it's video games or drugs or the girl down the street, anything that you let just take over your life, is not a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know, because like my wife, she's like on the side that she's just like, he's like, it's ruining him, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know. My parents just let me kind of do whatever I want, as long as it was like not bad. Like they made me like listen to Christian rap and stuff like that, so I was on this side of it. But I mean, it was like I still got to like do some stuff. But, like I don't know. And then my wife, she grew up with like no TV at all. They didn't watch movies. She was like as a religious thing, and so I'm just like, I look at her and
If you have thyroid eye disease and itchy eyes have you itching for a fight, it might be time to discover another treatment option. To learn more, visit treatmyted.com. That's treatmyted.com.
I'm just like, honey, like I grew up, I got to do whatever I wanted, as long as it was within reason,
Like Grand Theft Auto, that game, I don't care what anyone says. That game is awesome. And I know they hate that kids play it, and kids probably shouldn't play it. But I played it when I was a kid, and I turned out okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, me and my wife, I played video games.
Quotes there, I really am.
I told my wife, I was like, I play video games. I was like, I watched MTV, all that stuff. I was like, you didn't even have a TV, and we're both losers. I was like, so neither one works. So I think we should just let him do what he wants to do.
I'm old enough that my parents didn't really give a crap what I did either, as long as I did it outside. You know what I'm saying?
Get out.
That's right.
See, and I was always jealous.
You
of
can come in the house when it's time
fans.
to eat or sleep.
My son found this game on his tablet, and you're a shark. And you like start out as a really small shark, and it just drops you in the water, and you start eating shit. And as you're eating stuff, you're growing, and your shark gets faster and like more dangerous. And then you move up to like a hammerhead, and you're moving up to like a great white. But you are ravaging people. There's like jump out of the water and like get on the boat and eat a couple guys. And then there's golden guys that if you eat the guys that are gold, you get more points. So you're just,
if that was real, would you ever go in the ocean on a boat? Sometimes the sharks get up on the boat and eat a few people and bash some stuff around.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Spray paint on the wall and get out of it.
Absolutely not, man. Lane was playing it, and I'm like, this game looks cool. And then he was just down in the water, like eating little fish and stuff. I'm like, this is a cool game. And then he goes up to the surface, and it's like, and you can wait on the beach, and then when they get in the water, you snap people out of there. And he's like, "Eat him, Dad! Eat him, Dad!" Yeah. And it's his favorite game. Like he wants me to play. He wants me to play that game, and he wants to watch me play that game.
But you're running the gamut, man. What if he grows up and he turns into a shark? You know? I mean,
yeah. There you go.
I don't know, man. 4-year-old kids say a lot of crazy stuff, and I'm like, where did you learn that? I mean, I didn't even show you that. Like, I don't know. I don't know that I think it's parenting more than anything. Like, you can play too many video games here and there, because there's days where we're like, well, we're going to watch movies today. Let's let them play their games and we'll order a pizza. Like, we'll have days where we just all as a family kind of chill and let everybody just do their thing. But I notice it if we're all sitting there. I'm like, hey, let's put the phones away for 20 minutes and talk about something. Or like, I'll make an effort to make sure we all sit down at the table and be like, we need to just put our phones away for 15 minutes and talk to each other and keep that going. Because I think I don't know. I think you can. I played a lot of video games when I was younger, like middle school, high school, and look at me, Norm.
Yeah. Well, let's ask Norm. You taught me.
I have been. I really have.
You taught me and my friends in the late 90s, and we didn't have cell phones. I mean, Matt Roseberry had a cell phone, but it was in a bag, and you had to be at the fairground standing on top of the hood for it to work. And like, I think, like we were always told, like, you're not going to have like a calculator ever as an adult and all stuff. And all, the teachers were all really wrong about all that. But
do
you feel like with the addition of technology where kids sort of have like a phone and everybody knows how powerful a phone is, it's a tool more than anything. Do you feel like kids are dumber? I know you can't really say, but do you think it's stunted our growth as a society? Like, do you feel like kids are like losing?
No, it's just another thing that's stolen our attention, though. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like what I was saying with the video games. Anything you do can be harmful if it takes over your life. And the main thing that I see with the phones, it isn't the phone itself. It's whatever they're doing on the phone. And like some kids spend all their time playing games, and some kids spend all their time on social media on the phone. And, it's just the key is always, whatever you do, don't let it take over your life. Don't let it become, when I was a kid, this sounds weird, but it's the same way that we talked about drugs when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? The scariest thing about drugs to most of us is that was the way that they could take over your life and change who you were. Well, anything can do that if you give it that power over you. So that's the thing is, I think anything in healthy doses is just fine. The key is you don't want to let something just take over your life and become your reason for being. And too many people they have trouble. They have trouble with boundaries. They have trouble with knowing when to stop, I
have problems with that.
Yeah, that's true of anything. I mean,
he's got a broken shoulder because he broke it and just kept fighting people.
Yeah, he didn't know when to stop.
Didn't know when to stop.
Well, yeah, for real. It is. It's the truth. I had something going on and I was feeling some stuff. And when I was doing push-ups and when I was sparring and when I was rolling, there was certain stuff that I would do and be like, ooh, that's not right. That didn't feel good.
Sure.
And I kept training. 6 weeks later, I'm like, man, this is really starting to bother me. And my neck was feeling all gummed up and my hands started going numb. And I went to the physical therapist and the guy that's treating me right now. And he's like, you got to take a break, man. You got a disc issue or something going on. And I was just like, I'm just going to train through this. That's what I've always done. I just train through it. And eventually I'll just keep getting cracked and it'll just stop hurting. And something else will start hurting and I'll forget about that one.
Well, something you said a few weeks ago, Dusty, you were saying that whenever you were playing sports hurt, there was a difference between like people that genuinely needed to be in like the room, for that. And then there's people that were just, what did you call it? What did you say?
They said the coaches used to say if you were spending time in the pink room. if you were in there, because they would walk by and they'd be like, I know you sprained your ankle 9 weeks ago, but I think it's time to maybe get back on the, or let's stop taking up space in the training room, because we have players that need the attention from the trainers and stuff like that. And our coaches were really good about that and being like, if you're hurt, you need to see the trainer. If you need treatment, like when I fucked my ankle up, when I fucked my back up, they had no problem with me coming out to practice a half hour late, because I was legitimate. I wanted to play. I wanted to be at practice. I wanted to be hitting every day. I wanted to be doing everything. So I think coaches are able to pick up on that.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of guys that didn't necessarily want to play football, and maybe their dad was making them, or whatever the case may be, and they just hate it and they're looking for any excuse to get out of it. Yeah. But then they also expect to play.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Then their dad's coming to talk to you because he's not on the field. And like our coach our coach was so awesome about it. And I think at the time I maybe did not understand the method, but now as I've gotten older and I understand with my own children, as I coach jujitsu a little bit and stuff like that, the things that he was doing were like, he'd pull us all in, and when he had a problem, we talked about it right there. He'd call everybody in and say, listen, I got moms and dads contacting me wondering why little Bobby's not playing. He's like, I'm not going to single anybody out here, but he'd be like, why you're not playing. You don't need to have your parents come in. You're not playing because you're not putting in the work that this guy is. You weren't at the defensive line camps at 6 a.m. that you didn't have to be at, but I was at every fucking one. And that's why I played. You know what I mean? And that's what it takes. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. They think it's just like,
I'd love to see a dad come out on the field in the NFL. Just like, oh my God.
Just walking up to Andy Reid and being like, yo, I kind of feel like you don't know what you're doing. My son should be playing.
My son's been hanging out. He's like, sir, he's a manager. I think you need to put him in, Andy.
But it was
the worst part about sports when it's not a professional level. Like my friend Orlando in Texas is a basketball referee. He loves basketball. He loves refereeing. Hates parents because they just like make his life so horrible.
Joey. And that you don't know how true that is.
Well, like I used to I loved in high school. I had the greatest coaches and the greatest team. And like my experience playing high school ball was like so much fun. And I got so many good lessons out of it that I never even thought about. But we just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. And like, I loved to play. I'm like, I'll try out for punter. I don't give a shit. Like, you've never punted in your life. Can I get on the punt team? If I can get on the punt team, I'll get on. I was the starting defensive end. Like, do you want to be on kickoff? I'm like, yes, I want to be on kickoff.
I was a glamour. I just wanted to be like famous. So when I go out for sports, and then I learned. I remember like, you don't really. It's really hard to see what you really look like. Like even as an adult, like you're seeing what you want to see most of the time.
I don't think
I had no idea that I was fat. I'm just like, hey guys, this is the first track meet, man. I'm sitting there with my buddies, like, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you, and they're like, go, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm fat. I'm not fast at all. Like,
so you're telling me you may not have had a realistic body image? Is that what you're telling me?
A distorted image of self.
I remember learning as the distance grew between me and my classmates of like, oh, you were a pathetic loser, man. Like, you were not as good as they are. You're subpar. And like it was a learning experience. I mean, I just I didn't think of it. I just thought I was just gonna run and be fast like everybody else. But when it came to sports, like I don't know. Like I was always thinking about me. I was like, how can I get a basket? How can I do something cool? Like I was a horrible team player.
I was never that well. Like I don't know what happened to me, but like my senior year, especially, like it finally clicked to me how much I liked it. So I really prepared for my senior year. I'm like, I want to fucking dominate this year, or I want to start and I want to get stronger. And I want to play, and I want to play well. And like, I wasn't the biggest guy, I wasn't the fastest guy, none of that, but I was like honorable mention. And I got a lot of sacks. I was always a pretty good pass rusher and stuff like that. And we had awesome coaches. It was just a really fun experience, man. I wouldn't give that back for anything. And like, I hope my kids want to play something, you know, like do you like the boys are doing jujitsu and Lucas is like, I don't like jujitsu, Dad. And I'm like, oh,
dagger in the heart.
Oh, medic.
You know, my old man was a full ticket basketball player in college, and I think he was always a little disappointed that I wasn't a basketball player. If basketball wasn't violent enough for me, I don't think.
I'm the same as you.
I'd last about 2.5, 3 minutes in a basketball game before I was fouled out, you know.
I got thrown out of a couple basketball games.
Yeah.
Did you play basketball, Norm? Or?
I played my freshman year was the only year I played in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, by then, I think my dad and everyone else had figured out that I was not a basketball player. My senior year, we told the coach we were going to come out. He told us to bring our own shit because he wasn't going to check us out, and we'd hurt one of his real players.
I found out I played sports in middle school. I liked that, and I didn't play in high school, but in middle school I played. There's a little thing that not a lot of people get to understand, but it's a B team basketball, and there's nothing more fun than B team basketball when not even the coaches give a shit who wins. They're just like, yeah, go up there.
That is not, dude.
Come on, Derek, go up there and play your best.
That is not true.
We loved it, dude. We loved B team, dude.
That was not it, dude. Like when I went and played a semester of college ball, and then I came back because I hated where I was and everything. But I got back on with my high school because I loved the environment. I loved the guys. They were all sitting there. So I was like, I'll volunteer to coach. I'm like, I don't have a job right now. I'm in school. I'm back here living in Omaha. I'm like, I'm right out by here. I would love to come help coach or whatever. And they're like, if you want to volunteer, you know, well, we can probably get you a little bit of money. It won't be a lot, but you know, you can, you know, we'll have you come. So I was like the defensive coordinator for the B team freshman football team. Mm-hmm. I loved it. I loved it, dude. I absolutely loved it because I knew guys that I played with that were on the B team that everyone thought sucked. And one summer they just decided after their freshman year, they're like, I'm not going to be on the B team next year. And they come back and they're just lighting people up. And you're like,
there's two ways to look at B team. You know, the first time when I found out in basketball, like when I found out Steve Norby put me on B team, I was kind of like, really? But then, like, I don't know, man. Like, you can either look at B team as like a diss, or just like they're letting you play. Like you're not any good, and they're gonna let you go on the court. Like, what are you talking about? Shut up, dude. Go play. You know, it's like I loved B team, and like in football, your coaches were on the field with you.
Yeah,
you know, and you weren't in the classroom anymore. They're like, knock these shitheads' heads off. You know, like they're out there. You know, and like that B team was great. I thought.
That's what I was going to say from a coach's standpoint. You know, ideally B team is meant to develop talent. You know,
yeah.
I mean,
it's like a feeder.
Exactly. If you're going to build a program, you've got to start at the bottom and build it from the bottom up. You know, now I can understand for some kids, you know, the B team takes the pressure off of them, and that's fine. But especially in junior high, you know, you put a kid on B team because you want to keep them on the team, because some of those kids, their body is going to change completely over the next 3 or 4 years. You know, you could have looked like you did in 7th grade. And then, you know, well, I would be a good example. I lost 100 pounds between 7.
The holidays are bustling with activity. Handle it all with Happy Honda Days. Surprise visit home? The Honda Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline have it under control. Take on the season with financing as low as 0.9% APR on the 2021 Pilot and Passport, and as low as 1.9% APR on the 2020 Ridgeline on select models for well-qualified buyers.
Find your perfect ride at your Hampton Roads Honda dealer today.
See dealer for financing details.
The holidays are bustling with activity. Handle it all with Happy Honda Days. Bringing skis to the cabin? The Honda CR-V and HR-V make it easy. Take on the season with financing as low as 0.9% APR on the 2020 CRV and as low as 1.9% APR on the 2021 HRV on select models for well-qualified buyers.
Find your perfect ride at your Hampton Roads Honda dealer today.
See dealer for financing details.
7th grade and 8th grade, sometimes a kid's body completely changes. I was over 200 pounds in 7th grade. I didn't get back over 200 pounds again until I was in college, so
Changed, man.
Yeah,
that's what happened to me. I was like 6'2", but I was like, God, I think I was 6'2" in 8th grade, or I was close to it. I sprouted like a weed up, but then I was playing football and I was just a freaking beanpole. You know what I mean? I was just lanky and all that. But as I started to get a little bit older, I started to pack on a little bit of muscle and a little bit more athleticism and stuff like that, and some coordination. And I became a completely different athlete after I developed. But I mean, that puberty stage for boys is like baby deer legs, like squeaky, wobbly, uncoordinated.
Absolutely. And sometimes those sub-varsity levels, that's where you're trying to teach kids how to win too. When I took over at Elkhart, we hadn't won a game in 3 or 4 years. We used that sub-varsity level. We put our best kids on the sub-varsity level. Of course, most of our best kids were freshmen and sophomores there for a couple of years anyway. But those kids were playing on Friday nights and getting their butts kicked. But then the same guys were playing on Monday nights in JV, and they were winning there, and they were learning how to win. And that's so there's a couple of different philosophies, when it comes to sub-varsity. It should really be used, obviously, to build the program, but sometimes that's through developing talent, and sometimes it's through just, teaching those kids how to win. Because
I had experience, my sophomore year was like the best year ever as a football player. I went to the high school where I was a freshman. It was the first year the high school was open. So on our varsity football team, the first year the school was open, we had 9 seniors on the football team. Like there was no one, because they were all playing at established schools with programs where they'd been in forever. So we started from scratch, and the varsity team went over. But our freshman team was undefeated. So then the second year, I was a sophomore, and I played middle linebacker that year, and I was on the reserves, which is like the sophomore team. Mm-hmm. I was on the JV team as a middle linebacker, and then I was also varsity, like second or third string middle linebacker, and I played special teams. And our games were on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. I played 3 football games a week that year, and it was the best year of my life. I'm like, I get to play again tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is
and that's something they don't let you do anymore. You can't play on consecutive days, and you can't,
Oh, really?
Yeah. No. So, it used to be,
explains a lot.
Used to be you'd play your JV games, on Mondays, and freshman games on Thursdays, and then varsity on Friday. Now they play JV and freshman both on Monday because,
we got some Elkhart
play. Yeah. Because if your freshmen play on Thursday, they can't play on Friday. So if you've got any freshmen that may help you on varsity, you can't play them on Thursday.
Oh, see, they allowed me to do that. And
I know they used to. It used to not be a big deal. There used to not be any limit on how many quarters you could play, in a week either, So they're just, things have changed. They started worrying more about concussions here a few years ago. Back when I played, that we didn't even have concussions. You got your bell.
You got your bell.
Yeah.
When did we talk about that? Was it on a Sunday sermon we talked about that?
The only way, the only way you were going to be diagnosed with a concussion was if you were unconscious for a period of time. That was the only way.
I remember my junior year. We were playing Omaha Central, and they had a running back named Deontay Grixby. And he ended up playing at Nebraska, and he was a pretty salty player. And the Omaha Central had like Amon Green. They just had it was like running back when Nebraska was really good, and Deontay Grixby was a beast. So our corner, they run a toss to him, and our corner's the last defense, and our corner went up there, and props to him. He tried to stick and Deontay Grixby put his head down and just trucked him. And I think he probably ran for 60 yards and no one even touched him. Yeah. But we got back to the huddle, and they're calling the defense, and I'm standing next to that corner in the huddle. And he's like,
Yeah.
And they're like, base cover 3. And he's like, Dusty, what's cover 3? Where do I go? And I'm like, time out.
Yeah.
And then he went off to the sideline, and they were going to put him back on the field.
Yeah.
And our middle linebacker was like, time out. Like, this dude doesn't even know where he's going. Like, he's not even sure he's playing a football game right now. And you guys just, he went over there and you ran him back out here. What the hell is that? Trying to kill this guy? He's probably got CTE from that one moment.
Yeah. I got trucked like that once by a kid from Elkhart, Derek. It was a Rodriguez kid, wasn't it? I can't think of the kid's first name, but he was like a year or two older than me. We were playing Elkhart, and he was the fullback, and he ran one up the middle, and I met him in the hole, and we hit head to head, and he put a cleat mark on my belly as he went over me, man.
Those are the moments where you're not a Division I athlete.
Yeah.
Those are the moments.
Spent the next 3 or 4 plays over on the sidelines trying to remember who the hell I was.
Dusty, do you know much about Cornhusker football? Or?
I know a lot about Cornhusker football, like 2003 or 2002.
Do you know D'Angelo Evans?
Yes.
Okay,
I
he
played
kicked
against
the
him.
shit out of Norm's team. But see, this is, I think, I don't know what Norm would say, but 93 Elkhart Wildcats, they did a phenomenal year. They Smith Center, which was a huge thing. And then I listened on the radio, and D'Angelo Evans did pretty well that night against Elkhart. It was
D'Angelo Evans was a bad man. He played during the the badass years.
He was, but I would like to point out that we held him under 200 yards.
Well,
only
he had 199 yards. All in the first half. He didn't play.
They took him out.
No, he didn't take him out. Eric Simmons hit him and knocked him out cold. He didn't play in the state championship game because of it. Yeah, it was just one of those. We had Eric on a blitz, and he hit D'Angelo literally just as the quarterback handed him the ball. And it was one of those ugly hits, but.
Well, that's what you got to do. You got to take those guys out.
Hey, man, when you're down by 48 points.
It matters.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, the damage was already pretty well done.
Might as well try to injure the guy and ruin his future.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Did you guys what was your plan? Just did you just tell Eric when you got there, try to hurt him? Or because how do you stop D'Angelo Evans? What was your guys' plan against D'Angelo Evans?
The same as ours against Eric Crouch. I played against Eric Crouch.
Yeah. Injuries played a big deal in that game too, because, Sean Patrick was our best linebacker as far as number of tackles, and he got hurt in the first series of the game, like in the first 2 or 3 plays. So so your plans go out the window when you lose your middle linebacker. It's
that guy's the quarterback of your D, man.
Yeah, exactly. So we had a plan, to try and contain him and do that, but.
Which you guys,
we had a plan to injure him, which we did after
you guys gave Eric Simmons a 50 on the way yards. Out the field. Told him not to worry about that English exam on Friday. You know what to do.
Putting hits out.
But you know what? As morbid as it is, obviously nobody told them to hurt him. But whenever he got out of the game, and nobody likes when people get hurt. But when you're getting a beating like that, everybody's kind of like. Okay, that's awesome that he at least can't play anymore.
Yeah, well,
he can't hurt us anymore, guys.
Him again.
Well, and at that point, of course it was still the first half, but as a coach at that point, you question, well, why was he even in the game? Because that game was out of control already at that point.
Well, I remember our coaches, since I played for that team, and the varsity team got beat up bad the first year, and people were running up the score on them and stuff like that. So our sophomore year, I think we got to 5-5. I think we might have got just above 500 our junior year. But then my senior year, we were good. We made it to the state championship in Class A in Omaha, Nebraska, and that's pretty tough football up there.
Yeah,
and we got there, and there were teams that we were playing, and our coaches would be like, "Don't plan on sitting in the second half," because I remember these guys for the last 3 years. Leaving their starters in and hanging 100 on us just to embarrass me and do all this shit. And he's like, we're put your fucking shoulder pads on and stay out there. And I don't care if they put their third stringers in, blow them away. And you're like, all right, I'm padding stats, baby. Padding stats. Give me a couple extra cleanup sacks at the end of the night.
See, I think because, like, you know, if you break it down, like, to where it's just these kids out there that have never met each other in real life, like, but you know, there's years of you know, feelings when you're dealing with any sports teams that are any towns that are close, any, you know, any like Johnson, we played the game the other night. I mean, it's just, you know, like it's not just those kids out there playing. They're paying for sins that happened 5 years ago. Absolutely. You know, like, but that's the beauty of the game, you know, and that's like, it's like, you know, you look at like my dad likes the Raiders, you know, like they're nowhere near anything they were when he was a kid and he started, like, it's just every year they're a brand new team, but it's just like, they're a team, you know, it's like, go team, man. It's like, who plays for them? I don't care. Go team, man. Like,
I remember, I mean, we had rivalries. I remember we had rivalries with schools and like shit where there'd be fights in parking lots if you saw them, you know, that kind of stuff. And I don't know if that happens anymore, like that.
I don't know either.
Territorial thing. I don't know.
We have real rivalries, you know, at Liberal and the WAC with Garden City and Dodge City and Liberal. That's a big 3-way rivalry, you know. But at the same time, those kids all know each other. You know, they've been playing against each other since they were in junior high. They, you know, they play MAYB basketball and stuff like that together, you know, and they're at least between Dodge City, Garden City, Liberal, those kids all seem to be pretty friendly with each other outside of the game itself. Now, it's a pretty intense rivalry during the game.
As it should be.
Yeah, but after the game, you know, they seem to basically be buddies, you know, so.
Yeah, I had a lot of friends from other schools, and I never really played into that stuff. But I do remember people getting their freaking heads caved in parking lots over some dude wearing a leather jacket in a movie theater in the wrong part of Omaha. And I'm like, what?
What kind of varsity?
But you know,
I'm not wearing,
my experience has generally been that the guys involved in my experience has generally been though that the guys involved in that kind of stuff are usually not the guys that are out for sports anyway. You know, I mean, as far as beating somebody up because they're wearing the, you know,
or they're not playing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I remember I didn't do stupid shit. I did up until my senior year. I actually got suspended for a game my junior year for minor possession of alcohol. I got in some trouble, got caught trespassing, did some stupid shit over the summer, and I missed a game. And we had a mark for the defense. Like you had to have 100, you had to score 100 points during the year, and you were like part of this elite defensive club. Like you became a black shirt or whatever it was.
Right.
And I missed it by 2 points that my junior year. I'm like, I missed it by 2 points. If I play the first game, there's no way I don't hit the mark that I wanted to hit. And I missed it my junior year because of that. So then like my senior year before that, I was like, if you guys go out and drink, I'm not doing any of that dumb shit. Like I'm getting ready for the season. I'm trying to get a scholarship, whatever. And I got one, but it wasn't a big one anywhere because I think it took me a while to realize that I wasn't as athletic as I thought I was.
You get yourself something to lose and you start, you know, being a little different, you know?
Yeah.
It definitely humbled me. I was super embarrassed. And my dad kind of made me own everything. Like I know there were other kids that got attorneys and stuff like that, and they kind of got out of it. And he's like, well, were you there? Were you drinking? Then you're guilty. Go up there and say you're guilty. And I did. And I got the fucking book thrown at me, and they made an example of me, and I was on probation, and I went through and I had to do community service and all this crap. And I'm like, wow, there's real consequences for being a dumbass. And I think I don't think the coaches had to suspend me. I think they did it to, you know, teach me a lesson. And the week that they suspended me, they made me play a JV game.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not a JV player anymore, but they're doing, and I went into that JV game and I had like 700 tackles because I was, you know, it was just, it was a lesson. I got taught.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. You learned something from it, didn't you?
I definitely did. And those were things at the time that I'm not sure I think maybe subconsciously I realized what was going on, but at the time I think this is bullshit. You know, they know they do. They probably do know you're the best for that position, but they also realize that they're raising men here. Like they're influencing the lives of young men, and you have to teach those lessons. Like I can thank my coaches for that stuff, because I'm not even sure my parents could have had the chance to teach me those lessons, because you're so resistant to your parents when you're that age. Those coaches.
Where does that come from? Because if you look at like the NFL or like even like NBA, you generally don't have people going into professional sports without an education.
No.
So like at what point, like, I guess my question is what does it matter if the guy that's, you know, say Patrick Mahomes can't read?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the problem? But I'm not saying where does sports and education get intermingled?
Yeah, where the problem is that Patrick Mahomes needs to be able to take care of himself. Yeah. And if you can't read, you're reliant on somebody else to take care of you. And that somebody else could be taking care of you, or they could be stealing you blind. Yeah. Okay?
Right.
So all right. Now, not only am I a football coach, I'm also a reading teacher. Okay. So listen, if you can read at about a 5th or a 6th grade level, you can read at what we call a functional adult level. So you don't have to be a great reader to be able to function in society, but you better be able to read at a point where you can function in society and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Otherwise, you're reliant on other people. And that's what it's all about to me, is self-reliance. I mean, I don't care if you can, you know, you don't need to sit down and be able to read War and Peace. You know, you need to be able to fill out a job application, and you need to be able to read well enough to maybe do a simple tax return.
Read directions.
Or read directions or something like that, so that you're not dependent on other people your whole life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, other
I guess this is my point.
Like, me when I say this, but the world needs doctors and lawyers, and the world needs guys that drive a Bobcat at a feedlot, and the world needs guys that dig ditches. You know, I mean, granted, we've got machines that do that, but you understand what I'm saying, right? There's a niche for everyone, and those don't all require the same skill set. You know, so the idea to me is to teach kids to be self-reliant.
Yeah.
You know?
It definitely taught me. I was one of the most, and it was strange because after I stopped playing football, I kind of really went off the rails, especially at the age I was at. I just turned 21. So, you know, I was kind of a fuck up there for a while, but like I was one of the most prepared guys probably at two-a-days in college when we got there, and they made it very clear the first day what their intention was. They were trying to weed out anybody that wasn't there to play. It was brutal. It was horrible. I mean, we had guys rolling off bunks during two-a-days to break their own arms so they didn't have to go to practice the next day. Literally, we had guys dropping off day after day after day, like. So we had the first day we got there, we had to run sprints, we had to squat, we had to bench, and we had to clean and max all those things. And we had to do vertical. And then we had 2 practices. And then we couldn't go full pads the first day, but the second day we could go full pads. We ran 1680s, and they had to be done in a certain amount of time. And if one person didn't make it, you did that one over.
Yeah.
So like if you did it, you had to drag people. If you did it, you had to like drag people across the line.
Yeah.
And I was one of the people that was actually prepared for that. And I wasn't dying. Like there was dudes running, puking at the same time. Like, and I was just, I was tired, of course, but I mean, I wasn't like dying. And I'm like, I bet that summer of drinking was fun. I'm like, but I'm sure glad I didn't do it right now. It's feeling pretty good.
I'm going to throw a name out for you. We'll see if either of the two of you are old enough to remember, but the name is Dexter Manley. Either one of you know who that was?
I remember the name.
Okay.
He played for the Redskins. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Dexter Manley was an all-American defensive tackle, I believe, maybe a defensive end. No, I think defensive tackle at Oklahoma State. And then was an all-pro defensive lineman in the NFL. And he was well through most of his NFL career when he basically at a press conference broke down and admitted he couldn't read or write.
Wow.
You know? And, you know, of course, then the big question became, well, how the hell did you graduate from Oklahoma State?
Why are you
Because I'm good at football.
Yeah, and it became pretty obvious, you know, how athletes sometimes get preferential treatment. And a lot of that that drive came from there, So, yeah. By the way, I know I was laughing a minute ago at Talmadge's comments here. Mike, it's good to see you, Michael. I'm glad to know you're still out there and still alive, buddy.
Norm, have you ever seen the program?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. Because it's like, remember Alvin Mack in that scene where they're like, you can't even read. He's like, motherfucker, I can read. See that shoe? It says Adidas. And he was like blatantly just telling everybody, like, I'm never going to learn anything. Like, I'm so good at football that it doesn't matter.
Is that the guy that busts his leg in half like a Kit Kat?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the movie that we would watch on the bus on the way to the state championships. The program was like a big thing back
So like me, I'm not a real big sports guy. Like I'm a Bears fan, but I've probably watched like 3 games this year. I'm not a big sports fan, but there's something about a sports movie that I am the most. I love it. Like you put like Remember the Titans on, like I might cry. Rudy, when he runs out of the field, his dad's like, "Oh, that's my boy." I'm like, "Oh shit!"
Few things are more emotionally manipulative than sports movies.
Yeah, but it's great. Like, and one of my favorite movies of all time, and nobody would ever guess it. Like, if I had to pick like top 3 movies of all time, is Jerry Maguire. I don't know why.
Really,
my favorite movies of all time. I think it's just like that, just this bonding of 2 people that kind of have to know each other and they grow through each other. But I mean, it's just a sports movie at the end of the day,
It's like a chick flick too, though.
It's a chick flick sports movie.
It is kind of, yeah.
I liked how the Any Given Sunday. I like how they did that one because they made it. They probably made it a lot closer to what the real deal is. Yeah, you know what I mean? They probably made it. I cannot even. I cry at the end of A League of Their Own every time.
That's
awesome. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming in.
What's up,
Seth? It's just I do some of that stuff. This guy had goosebumps when Coach remembered him. We're connecting people here on DG and Friend this evening.
Yeah, that's right.
Happy hour hangs indeed.
Well, Talmadge, you were the only one-armed football player he ever coached.
Yeah,
I remember one time.
That's actually not true, but
you've had multiple.
Let's say one of the few, one of 2.
So, Coach, tell me what you would do about this. So we were in a playoff game, and we had a kicker, and didn't do it. He was a soccer player, didn't do anything else. He came to practice. Kicked a bag of balls and went home. Never ran, never tried to make a tackle on anybody, nothing.
Yeah.
We're in a playoff game and he cheap shots a guy out of on the sidelines. And then he's talking mad shit and gets a personal foul. And like, it was like in the crucial part of the game and he blew the game for us.
Oh, Lord.
And our coach, I've never seen a person so upset in my entire life.
Bet. And that's
you're the kicker.
Yeah.
Fucking kicker.
but at the same time, the coach himself bears some of the responsibility for that, right? Yeah, that's the danger of taking a kid that doesn't understand the game. You know what I'm saying? And putting him in that position.
I think he understood though, because the rest of the year he was like sitting on. If there was a tackle to be made, he was like, laying it. But he got a chance to cheap shot a guy, and it was like it took the wind out of our sails and set us back, and we ended up losing the game to a team we should have beat. And it was like everybody on the team is like, "Fuck that guy! If he comes back next year, I'm not playing." I'm not going to sit out there and watch him kick field goals all day and like drink fucking Gatorade while I'm running gassers over here. Yeah. And then he blew the season for us. God.
That's a tough bus ride home. You're the kicker.
Yeah.
That
that should be a tough bus ride home. Yes.
I'm not going to be. I mean, I probably would still be a little mad at the kicker if he missed the game winner. I mean, I'm human. Yeah. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, fucking kicker decides the game. It's fucking
You're like, good game, man. Good game, man.
Yeah. God. Kia's car.
Really wanted you to make that, but
would have been nice when I was, doing squats this summer at 8 a.m. instead of Instead of sitting around eating waffles and playing fucking James Bond, you were just coming in, rolling in nonchalantly at the end of practice to kick a few.
So you got to make
been nice to
run
know
as
that.
everybody else.
They have, but I mean, those dudes decide games all the time. It's I don't know.
Yep.
But special teams are one of the funnest things to be on too. I was telling people, I was like, I loved being on punt return. I was the guy that led the wall. And so I always got to blindside people, when the ball's in the air and the returner's looking at the ball and the other guy's looking at the returner and he has no clue you're running. And then that guy catches the ball and runs towards you and that guy turns and you just.
Yeah. That, and it used to be you'd send your backside defensive end, you'd send him through to make sure the punter punted it, and then he'd turn and come up the opposite sideline and just clean up the trash up that sideline. Yeah. A lot of times he was getting to ear hole people, and you can't get away with that crap anymore. That's targeting. That's an automatic eject.
Oh, I got a couple, dude. I need to take my high school football highlight video and get it like on a DVD or something so I can download it on my computer and share like the kill shots from high school. I would love to see that stuff now and just have it to show my brother. Watch this, boys. That guy has no clue. Watch when this guy catches the ball.
This is the day this kid started walking funny. Okay.
I changed this guy's life that day. Best day of my life, buddy.
I love it whenever, there's nothing better than just a great hit. Like I remember we were playing and I was a 7th grader. Ian was an 8th grader and Ian was a defensive end. And some guy got around him and Ian was like, shit. He turned around and for some reason, Will Murray, this guy that was not very big in the 7th grade, just cleaned this dude up. Dude, it was like, killed this guy. And it was the best part was it was a Thursday. So Friday after school, we got to watch it. And we're like all waiting for that part of the day when Will put the kid in the hospital. We're just like, this is awesome, man. Like I was like that whenever you'd get like a great hit from somebody. Will ended up being a great athlete when he grew into himself, obviously. But, when he was a 7th grade kid at this time,
I used to try to punt because I didn't want to be on the punt team. So they'd be like, punters, if you're trying out for punters, you don't have to run. You got to go over there and punt. And so you just kept punting, and we had a dude that was like a college punter as our punting coach, and he could just kick a spiral and shit. And I'd just go over there and be like, boom, and just knowing full well there is not a snowball's chance in hell that I am ever going to be the punter for this team. But I was just doing it.
Getting out of running is what you were doing. Yeah, I know what you were doing.
I was getting out of running. They'd be like, Dusty. I'd kick one and they'd be like, one more try. And the next one I could get the fuck over there.
Yeah.
You are not a punter.
Twice and he just hands you
like all the fat kids automatically think they're long snappers when it comes time to do specials, because otherwise they're down there driving the sled, so all of a sudden they're all long snappers.
The coach just walks over to Dusty and hands him a pamphlet to the Navy. He's like, here you go, dude.
You're never gonna be a punter. I'm sorry, I don't know what your dad and mom told you, but you're never gonna make it on the team as a punter.
Oh man.
Well, we just hit an hour, guys. I think I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get some physical therapy on my neck.
Gotcha.
See if I can get back amongst the living here at some point. But
we got some movies though.
Mighty Ducks, Caddyshack.
We got Longest Yard.
Yeah, I was going to say
Blues.
Longest Yard, the real one, the original one. That was always one of my favorites. Yeah.
Varsity Blues did not age well.
No.
Have you watched it now?
No, I haven't watched it in several years.
You should watch it now and just be like, you're kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I used to think this movie was awesome.
And then some guy, Nightbot's trying to bum everybody out.
Nightbot's always doing the
Nightbot's like, hey, you guys having a good time? You want to fix that?
Nightbot's doing the Lord's work.
8 Men Out, The Natural. The Natural's a great movie. Remember the Titans, a great movie. League of Their Own. League of Their Own's is like a perfect movie. It's a total chick flick, but it's a great flick. I don't remember.
Good movie. Yeah.
I remember we had a foreign exchange student.
I'm not a huge baseball fan, but there's a lot of good baseball movies. It is a very cinematic sport. It really is.
It is.
boring.
Major League,
sport to
best
watch
baseball
on TV.
movie.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's probably why it's good for movies, is because there's lots of time for things to develop. You know,
Major League is the best baseball movie. And it's
Yeah,
not
I
even-
agree.
it's
Major
not even
League is-
close.
yeah.
There's no way.
Major League is a great movie. You're right.
You may run like Mays, but you hit like shit. Charlie Sheen walks up with the sleeves ripped off. He's like, I feel like a banker in this.
Yeah.
They would never get away with that shit now, probably. But man, that movie was amazing.
Yep.
Basketball glory. That's a basketball is a great sports movie too.
Basketball. I'm not sure I've ever even seen that.
Dude, that's a hilarious movie. Dude.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
worth a watch. It's funny. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I could tell my wife about basketball and like get her interested. She'd
No,
probably,
probably
be like,
not.
Nah, go fuck yourself. We're not watching that.
Skip that. Yeah, just watch it by yourself.
Yeah, that's one you want to. Yeah, probably enjoy.
Wait
by
12
yourself.
years and watch it with your boys. It'll be a good time.
Okay. All right.
Do wait 12 years.
Do wait 12 years.
Yeah, I don't want to show the 4-year-olds now.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I'm already showing them how to stalk people. I'm like, you got to stay just below the water. You can't even let them see your fin because they run away. And then when they step in, you got to get them in a burst. It's parenting.
Yeah.
How do you want to end this? Do you want to play your video where you're testing the mic again? To end
No,
it?
let's just end it and go offline because we didn't set up the scenes. This is all new. This is all new today. I was producing today, putting stuff up.
Well, there we go.
Putting stuff up on the screen. Space Jam. Look at that.
Space
Boom.
Jam.
There it is.
That's the one we were waiting for.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is episode number 5 of DG and Friends Happy Hour Hangs. Derek, 5 for 5, coach. Hopefully you want to come back.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Guys, have a great weekend. Derek, I need to chat with you for just a second when we're done.
All right,
with
I'm going
this.
to end this. See you later, everybody.
Later, guys. All right, guys, that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice to be notified of new episodes and leave a positive review if you dig what you're hearing. Guys, I would love to hear from you on social media. Let's get connected at DustyGrant57 on all platforms. All right, y'all, that's it for now. See you next time on DG and Friends.
Under NASA's Artemis program, Dynetics and Leidos will develop and build a new human landing system, advancing economic opportunities and paving the way for a sustained lunar economy. Learn more at DyneticsHLS.com.
Save now, share now. At KCSubaru.com, we are offering 0% financing for 63 months on select new 2021 Subaru models. And during the Subaru Share the Love event, Subaru will donate $250 to your choice of charity. Go to KCSubaru.com to learn more. Submit your charity selection by 1/15/21. See Subaru.com/share for details. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. Financing for well-qualified applicants only. Subject to credit approval. Expires January 4th, 2021.